Oh, what's happening? Okay. So avoid legal snags by telling people they're being recorded. You're being recorded.
Yay. All right.
Excuse me while I eat these M&Ms. You're a series regular sort of over on Good Clean Talks. The other
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah, I would say so.
We recorded quite a few, going back a couple of years.
Probably like 2, at least.
Yeah, at least 2 years. I've had this set up in every room of the house since then.
Yeah, yeah.
I like it out here.
Yeah, it's a little more
It's open.
open, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. So, you had plans to come on to the podcast, and you hit me up, was it like yesterday or the day before, asking me if there was like a subject.
Yeah.
And normally I've never done subjects before on Good Clean Talks. Like rarely has there been like a central theme. It's just been a bunch of bullshitting pretty much.
Yeah.
But I was listening to a podcast and I heard Russell Brand talk about he had a friend say that they heard their 3-year-old ask their 1.5-year-old. She said, "I need you to tell me what heaven is like again, because I'm starting to forget." And I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Like that's a crazy thought. So it got me started on this
like
kind of
how
like.
does a young child even know really like that? Unless they're told what.
Yeah, I think
heaven
there's
and hell.
definitely a lot of like informing kids and directing them on what to say. But it sent me on this rabbit hole of reincarnation. So I was like, okay, well we could do a reincarnation one.
Yeah, that would. Yeah, that actually was really dope to me because I was actually thinking about the whole reincarnation thing before you had picked the topic like a couple of days ago. I was talking about it, so it was kind of dope that you brought it up. It was like fate or something.
Yeah. I think everything happens for a reason, and that there's like divine timing kind of to everything.
Destiny.
Somebody recently said that to me. I was trying to schedule a podcast with her, and it kept like not working out, right? And so she said finally, it'll all happen with divine timing. Like, yeah, that's one way to look at it.
It's supposed to happen when it's meant to be.
Yeah, we were blaming the retrograde.
Yeah, well.
What do we got? Like, wait, is it the 20th yet?
Oh, we're in retrograde.
Still?
Yeah.
We're almost out.
I don't know.
In the home stretch.
I would have to look it up. I'm a bad witch.
It started on Halloween.
I don't keep tabs.
I think it's a particularly rough one. Maybe me. I don't know. I'm no expert. I'm not even an astrology guy. I didn't even believe in that shit until like I had a bad couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So I figure I would just take up believing in astrology for a minute just to blame it for my shitty week.
I mean, I don't know. Like I feel like I used to just say it just to say it, like not taking responsibility of my own bullshit and actions and stuff. But
yeah,
when stuff was kind of out of my hands and shit was just like, when I was going through all the shit that I was going through for the past month or whatever, and things just kept happening and happening and happening. And
pull the microphone like front and center and turn it sort of sideways. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I can hear them. Technical difficulties. It's a new podcast.
What do you need me to do, honey?
Turn it kind of like sideways, talking to the side. There you go. Try and just pull it like a little bit closer.
Like so?
That's better.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right. Cool.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good. Sorry. But yeah, dude, like everything was just happening for no fucking reason. Like just back to back to back. My cat, my fucking living financial situation, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, you had to move because your landlord was like a dipshit or something, and
no, like I was told that whenever I was gonna move in.
What was that?
I don't know.
Oh well.
I was told that whenever I moved in, that they had, renewed the lease and everything was fine and that they were going to renew it in February. So I wasn't going to have to worry about moving again in another 6 months, whatever. It's like, cool, great, that's awesome. I have a bunch of shit, don't want to move it again in another 5, 6 months. Shit happens between my roommates and stuff like that, and they sprung it on us about like a couple weeks ago that we would not be renewing the lease in February. So
you moved in and you got to turn around and move right out.
Yeah, pretty much.
And you found that out during the retrograde.
Yeah, all of this was happening during the retrograde, pretty much. Yeah.
See, that's like, I never really had a bad time during the retrograde, or if I did, it was just like normal stuff. But now it's just like, particularly on the financial side, I keep getting slapped with one thing after another, and it doesn't make sense because usually I'm pretty good about it, and I just learned how to put all my shit into a spreadsheet and like get all of my.
I need to do that.
I get everything timed right. Like I know when money's coming out, I know when it's coming in, and I can plan for every little cent.
See, I need to do that.
But then shit just fucking pops up out of nowhere. Like, oh, now you have to pay this. Now you gotta pay that, or you lose this. So it's like that. And it's
taxes.
It's insane. And then
I'm ready.
I go and step in dog shit, like 2 or 3 times.
Like literally step in.
Like literally step in dog shit. And this person that I'm studying with, she stepped in dog shit too a couple of times.
So it's like literally and metaphorically.
Yeah, right. It's just shit. It is total shit.
That's
this
hilarious.
month has been, but it ends. What is it now? It is the 20th. Oh, I think we're out of retrograde like tomorrow.
High five.
Yeah.
Ooh, awesome. I'm tired of this shit.
Mm-hmm.
And we are good people. That's what sucks too, because I know you, and I know like you put out a lot of good into the world.
Try to.
Yeah, I mean, we all try our best, but like, it just sucks like to get the shit end of the stick when you're constantly trying to put good out.
Oh yeah. Yep. But I think that's just life.
Yeah.
Throwing shit at you and making you stronger.
Yeah.
That's the way you gotta look at it.
My favorite saying is they're like, God won't put you through anything you can't handle.
Yep.
I'm like, okay. Yep.
I like how they say, it'll be all right in the end. If it's not all right, it's not the end.
Yeah.
But
okay.
I think there's a certain point where these sayings, yeah, maybe it'll hit the right person at the right time and it'll be profound. But if you hear them a bunch of times over and over again, it's like, will you just shut the fuck up already?
Yeah.
Can you just let me be miserable right now?
Like, please, like, I don't want your positivity.
Yeah.
Like, go fuck yourself. Yes. Yes, dude.
You gotta plug your can up.
Yeah, I do.
I know the bugs are bad. They're getting better, but they're getting aggressive. That's one thing that I've noticed.
Like, fuck your drink.
It's like they would typically avoid people or, whatever you got setting out if you got it right in front of you. But in the past, like, month or two, they started, like, they don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
They'll come right for you. I don't know what it is.
They know.
Yeah. So reincarnation.
Yes, reincarnation. Let's get into that.
So I started looking into it after hearing that thing on the podcast from I think it was Russell Brand, the comedian. He was talking about
Russell Brand's awesome. I love him. I love him.
Nuts. He's crazy in the best sort of way.
I love him. He's so outspoken and doesn't give a fuck.
Oh, he doesn't. Nope.
I love how he speaks out against the government and stuff.
And he's all into yoga and meditation. And
he's a really cool dude. Yep. Really cool dude.
Yeah, I feel like he's onto something.
Oh, yeah. No, I would totally vote for him if he went for president.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't think he would.
I don't think he would either, but,
It takes a certain kind of fucked up to want that much power.
The Matt Call guy, isn't he running currently? As a candidate?
Last I talked to him, Matt Cal from Shock to Awe. I don't think so. Last I talked to him, he said he wasn't running. He said he was taking a class in political leadership.
Yeah.
Something like that
to get
figure
there.
out how to get into an office position. I think maybe he's gonna start small.
Okay.
Like local government, sort of, and work his way up.
Because I don't know why, but I've seen his name somewhere. Like, within some big
He,
candidate something or other.
he might have been, but
I don't
he's
know.
really big in the psychedelic community. Because once his team reached out to me to interview him, I started seeing him everywhere.
That was a great, great freaking podcast.
Was
That
it?
was that was an awesome interview.
Yeah,
I was digging it.
yeah. I was gonna.
His views are great.
He wanted to be on Good Clean Talks. That's what they reached out to me for. But I was like, no, I need to start this new podcast, and this is like what I'm going for.
Yeah.
This is the kind of podcast that I want to have on this new thing. I don't want like people to go to that and then go back to my first ever podcast where I'm like tripping on mushrooms with my buddy. Like we don't know how to talk into the microphone. There's a weird like sound in the background. It's all kinds of like
All
I
kinds
just
of
I want to do something different.
Yeah.
And as many Good Clean Talks episodes there were where there's like 4 or 5 people trying to talk into the microphones all at the same time, and it's just
It's
chaos.
too much.
I like the one-on-one thing a lot more.
Yeah. Or like at most 3 people,
Mhm.
but people who know how to,
Yeah,
not
you can't
be-
have novices in there trying to like,
blah, 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 blah.
put their ego out there. Yeah, what you're saying is cool, but like
But
what I have to
this-
say is
Yeah. Like, no, can we not?
Yeah.
But
Reincarnation, yeah.
Reincarnation, no. Let me see, my phone was about to die. So that's why I had it plugged in. I should have charged it before. But this kid that I messaged you about, Cameron McCauley, apparently, oh no, excuse me, not Cameron McCauley. His name is James. James Lena. I don't want to mess this up, but I'm going to. Lena nigger. Leninger. I can't even say that.
It's not a bad word if it's part of a bigger word, right?
I'm sorry.
Is that in the link that you sent me over Messenger earlier?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
case for reincarnation? I
Yeah.
didn't get a chance to read that.
But it's saying that he was 2.5 years old when he started talking about vivid like dreams and memories of being a man called Lieutenant James McCready Houston.
What was his name? The kid's name?
The kid's name was James as well.
You think that's a coincidence, or do you think there's some type of like divine naming thing going on?
I don't know, and that's what I thought was crazy too.
Just as a quick sidebar, I was like doing my own research, and one of the cases that I heard of was a lot of them take place in India, maybe because it's more accepted over there that the parents nurture the memories coming out of the kids a little better. But
well, and the religious thing too, like their religion is a little bit.
One of them, or maybe it wasn't India, I don't remember, but one of the people who remembered a past life, no, it was a psychic that told them that what their name was in their past life, and he just looked at her like, what? Because that was his middle name, and she didn't know that.
Okay.
I don't know how truthful
it was
is,
it was part of like the name that he was in the past life.
His first name in the past life was his middle name in this life.
That's crazy. I wonder if that goes along with a lot of the reincarnation. I don't mean to quote like that, like reincarnation.
Well, we don't know if it's real or not.
Exactly. I mean, I believe in it. I believe in cases where there's definitely reincarnation, because like I said, I mean, this kid, he's 2.5 years old, and he goes on this tangent, saying how he was a fighter pilot in World War II, and he had been killed in Iwo Jima. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Iwo Jima. Iwo
Jima. It's Iwojima.
I feel like I should. Iwo Jima? Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I should know that. It's in Japan, right?
Yes. It's in Japan. And sorry guys. He was saying this was 50 years he'd been killed in Iwo Jima more than 50 years before. He had been talking about aviation, a 2-year-old talking about aviation and knowing like different parts of a plane. Like, what 2-year-old knows about stuff like that or take interest in
Yeah.
that kind of stuff out of nowhere,
Yeah,
you know?
you don't have enough knowledge in 2 years to be able to start talking about that. I don't think. I'm no expert,
I
but
mean, my first word was helicopter, but I didn't know anything about a fucking helicopter. My grandmother just sat there and said helicopter with me a bunch of times before I said it.
it's a cool
So,
word.
yeah.
Your grandma wanted your first word to be helicopter.
Yeah, she was like, "You're gonna be smart." And look how I turned out.
That's hey, you're doing podcasts.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm going somewhere.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's a strange first word though.
I know.
Why not
Usually
like
it's like
mom or dad or dog or
I wanted to be different, I guess.
yeah.
Helicopter is pretty.
There you go.
Yeah. What
That's
was your first word?
I don't know.
Oh,
I was never told. Probably mama or something. Oh, it was Dee Dee.
Dee Dee.
Yeah, that's what I called my sister. It wasn't her name is
Aw.
Dina, but I don't know if that was my first word. I'll have to ask her. But I seem to remember something about that. Her name was Dina, and nobody called her Dee Dee until
Until you.
I said that, and then they were like, "Oh, that's a word. That's Dina." And then
It just turned into a thing.
yeah, I don't know if it's a real first word or like, because if you make a sound and then somebody
They're
later,
like, "Oh, it's a word."
right? Yeah, I don't know.
You could just be like, "Oh,"
Yeah.
and they're like, "That's a word."
I think the point is I was trying, and that's all that mattered.
Yeah, let's give you a reward for trying at least. Come
Yeah,
on.
and that was her name from thus forth, apparently.
I didn't even know you had a sister.
Yeah,
I
she's
didn't know
she's
you had a
older.
sister.
She's not that old. If you're listening, you're not that old, Dina. But
Sorry.
she was up and out of the house before I was 10, so I
Okay,
didn't really, she was there a little bit when I was growing up.
but
She
not
was like 13 when I was born, so by the time I can remember, she was in high school, and then she was out of the
okay.
house. So we were like close when I was young. She would take me places. She worked at Disney, selling balloons, doing
Oh,
the same job that I did, and she
yeah. I
got
was
me
gonna
that job
say,
later.
didn't you do that?
Yeah, that's because of
Okay.
her.
All right, passing it down generation to generation.
Yeah, but
Very nice.
then
Well,
she
not
she
generation.
kind of just started doing her own thing, and then got a family, started raising kids, and now
Doing the adult life
yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Mm.
All right. Um, but back to this James kid. It's crazy because he goes on to talking about all this different stuff. His mom recalls James. He would be screaming like he would have these nightmares, and in these nightmares he would be screaming about an airplane crash and him being on fire and he can't get out and he's screaming help, and he would be kicking and pointing at the ceiling. And she said at one point she took James shopping, and she pointed out a plane in the window shop, and she had said, "Look, it has a bomb at the bottom." And the 2-year-old looked at her and said, "That's not a bomb, that's a drop tank." So, like, it's like,
Oh shit.
what 2-year-old knows that? Like, it's just crazy. Um, and then, he keeps going and talking about how um, he had flown a plane called the Corsair, which took off from a boat called the Natoma. And then I guess he was one night for dinner or whatever. His parents served him meatloaf for lunch, which he had never eaten before that day. And he said, "Meatloaf, I haven't had that since I was on the Natoma." And so his parents started, like, what is this kid talking about? Like, we need to research if this is just coming from somewhere he's, you know, like, what the hell is he talking about? So they started researching, you know, the Natoma and this, the Corsair and the guy that he's saying he is. Apparently, all of it checks out. There was a guy that was a flight pilot named James Houston, Lieutenant James Houston, and he was a fighter pilot who got killed. And he was stationed on the Natoma,
And that's an
and
actual ship.
yeah, it's an actual ship. It's an actual ship.
Do you think there's something like so let's say you die and then your soul gets recycled.
Yeah.
and you're on to the next less soul lesson, not life lesson, but like the next lesson your soul has to learn. So you go on to the next life.
Mhm.
Do you think that there's something in that soul's progression and journey maybe that would allow it to remember more when it gets into the next body, that would have more access to the recent lives, or maybe even not recent lives, but a life that would most serve the soul to have knowledge of in this life? Like maybe you live on a ship and you kill some Nazis or some Japanese folks or whatever, and then you die, but then you go off and live 50 other lives, maybe even on other planets, or maybe as animals, or
Yeah.
a cow, or a chicken, or a dolphin, or something. And then you become a human
Mhm.
later,
Mhm.
but you need some type of knowledge,
Of
as a
that
quick
experience.
access in your head to remember what it's like on Earth, to adjust to our gravity levels and get used to having 2 feet and 2 arms, and remember what lessons you need to learn. Maybe that life had a mirroring aspect, like the like this is the knowledge that you need to build upon. This is a
Yeah.
refresher, so that's going to be fresh in your memory when you come through when you're born.
See, I wonder, like, if, let's say we're all reincarnated. Let's just say that. Why, why do some remember it and some don't? You know what I'm saying? Like, like it would just be a crazy thing. Like, let's say that's, a thing. Like, I know you were just saying, what if it serves you a purpose later on? Um, but like, I was just thinking about that earlier. What if this actually is a thing and people are reincarnated? It could be a thing, it could not. I'm not going to say it isn't, and I'm not going to say it is, but if it is a thing, then, you know, do we get the choice to remember, or does our brain like recede those things, like how we were to receive trauma in our brains? Like if we were abused as a child or something like that, how your brain kind of blocks that
Right.
as you get older. Like I wonder if we're born with those memories, but we can't speak on them. And then as we get older, our brain kind of,
Well, I think we don't know a lot of words when we're that young,
yeah,
and we don't understand what other people are thinking. We don't
yeah,
understand that it's an abnormality. Maybe we think that we were born when we have so many memories and so many experiences that we will forget later,
yeah.
but we don't think to express them to our parents
Because we
right
can't
away.
we can't physically express them.
We don't have
We
the
can't.
words, and
Yeah,
kids say things that sound like nonsense, and a lot of the times, and maybe in American culture more over than Indian culture,
yeah.
the parents just dismiss their kids. They're like, "Well, that's
Oh,
nonsense.
they don't know what they're
You've
talking
never we've
about.
never been on a train,
Yeah,
Meanwhile, the kid died in a fucking train crash or something.
yeah. Or used to be like a conductor or some
Yeah,
crazy shit
yeah,
like that.
yeah. So it's like, oh, the kid really likes trains. I don't know. He says he's a conductor. He likes make believe. Like whatever.
Or like why some kids are so entranced by certain things or so interested.
Yeah,
Like my cousin, he was really into trains, and that's what made me think about this. He was, oh my god, like trains, 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 everything, or some people like cars, or kids like cars, or kids like, certain things that they're super drawn to. Maybe it was part of their past life, and that's why they enjoy it so
yeah,
much as a child.
yeah. I think that's interesting how that example, like how I said that, and it reminded you of that. I think maybe that even in so I think you choose to go into a life, and everything happens in that life is something that you need to experience, but you also kind of have an idea of what's going to happen and how it's going to play out before you go in, and you choose to go in,
Yeah.
and everything happens for a reason. Sometimes you have conversations that are meant to be, sometimes well, I mean, I think everything's meant to be, but sometimes something's going to have more of an impact, something is more in alignment, something is more like, hey, this we're on the right path right now, and you get that deja vu
That's
or
what I was
whatever.
just gonna say. I was gonna say, what if deja vu is part of our past life memory?
Yeah, yeah, I was thinking about that because I was listening to a couple of podcasts to prepare for this, and somebody was saying that the deja vu is kind of just a reminder that you're on the right path. And
Oh,
I was thinking of this one time that I was tripping on some weird research chemical at Wekiva Springs with a friend, and he went in to use the bathroom. So I'm sitting on these at a state park on these wooden steps, and I'm looking out over the springs, like a beautiful view. You got the water here and the woods around it, and
yeah.
it's all like downhill to the water, and like my vision panoramic from left to right. It happened. It was deja vu. It was like I've seen this before, but it was like
Yeah.
I've seen all of these snapshots
Yeah.
at once, and I like instantly remembered where I had seen it all before, and it was in a dream that I had at some point. I don't remember now, but like because I was tripping, everything happened in such slow motion.
Yeah.
But it's like that was a really good psychedelic experience for me. It helped to shape who I am. It was part of my path, part of my journey to be where I am now.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I definitely have a lot of deja vu, and I've had this argument with people before where, you know, people think deja vu is just something we've seen, in the past or whatever. But I'm like, no, dude. Like, I've been in another state where I've never ever
Oh
seen like
yeah.
a house or, whatever it may be. And I've had a couple of times where I'm driving down the freaking highway or just a random fucking road somewhere and I see a house. And I'm like, dude, I've seen that fucking house in my dream. And there's no reason for it. It's just there. I don't know why it's there, but like, I've always had really intense dreams. I've had like out of body experiences in my dreams where I've seen myself sleeping. Crazy. And that's a completely different podcast that we can do sometime,
Like
whatever.
out, like floating above your
Yeah,
sleep.
no, I was sleeping. I was watching myself sleep and I was on the ceiling. And whenever I went back into my body, um I was having one of those falling dreams, Um
Like you
like
crash back into your body.
yeah, and whenever I went back into my body, I literally like jolted. Like my whole body jolted like off the bed and like I was like, what the fuck just happened, Like and I was a kid, when that happened. So I feel like as kids we're more susceptible to otherworldly things.
Yeah, I think maybe we
Our
haven't.
pineal glands are more open,
Yeah, yeah. I think that you forget as you get older.
Well, and as you get older too, I feel like life and, the foods that we eat, the things that we're taught as children, as teenagers and stuff, that breaks us away from the otherworldly part of
Uh,
us, I want to say third eye,
it's that informing.
other,
It's
yeah,
like every once in a while, or quite often, you have somebody telling you that if you don't eat your meat, you can't have any pudding.
exactly,
They're constantly
exactly.
building that wall up.
Yes, yes. And like over time, you your mind becomes more closed and more closed and more closed. And instead of when you're a kid, your mind is so open and that's why they say, as children, kids see, spirits more. They see, they feel things differently. They look at things differently, the innocence and the pureness of being a child. It's you and I feel like, with having social media and stuff like that as children, it's taking away from that
Oh
too.
yeah.
I feel like it's making them more closed-minded at a younger age.
I
Um,
don't know a lot of kids that are on social media yet, though. But I mean, you still have parents like
well,
smile
just
for the camera.
just
Let's put this on
technology,
Facebook.
just technology in general. Like as kids, like we had to use our imaginations, and I feel like that built
Yeah.
our, I would say third eye, or it built our. I'm trying to think of a good word or way to say this, but it made us more open, in a way. We used our imagination. We found ways to make ourselves busy when there was nothing to do. you know. And kids these days, their imaginations are fucking shit, really. Like I love kids. So, you know,
Mm.
whenever I've talked to kids here recently, they're just, I don't know, man. I feel like technology has really taken away from just opening their minds to
It's more information. It's more informing. Like when we were kids, we had all that, and then over time, it got beat out of us by our parents. Like, oh, that didn't happen, and then you're like, it didn't happen.
yeah.
And you grow up, and you get older, and you've got this collection of experiences from your current life, and like, okay, so like the Indian culture, how they like there's more cases over there of people remembering past lives, not just remembering
Yeah,
past lives, but like
because they
traveling to
believe in
traveling
otherworldly stuff.
and traveling 2 towns over after describing their death. Like there was a little girl that said that she was a boy that made incense and got hit by a bus, and then 2 towns over, she went and found her family. She was like, she took them there. She was like,
Wow.
it's right around the corner. Oh, that's my brother-in-law. And she started talking to the family, and now she goes and visits their family because that's their brother. That's their,
Wow.
yeah. And I think that has to do with the culture because they believe in that when the kid is like, this is what I remember. They're
And
like,
they're
oh,
not being
that's your,
told they're wrong. They're not being told, "Oh,
right.
you're wrong. You're crazy.
And I
You
don't
need to
think
stop thinking that."
I don't think they're being coached either. I
Yeah.
think that they're just open to it.
Yeah, they're
They're
open.
less likely to shut them down.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I remember,
You're so used to being shut down
yeah,
as you get older and older that you just completely become closed off to anything else
yeah,
that could be.
like this is. I mean, we only have the evidence of what we see around us. So if we don't have our imagination or our mind, our awakened mind,
Yeah.
to guide us, if that gets shut down, then we're just stuck in this physical reality. And I think that people are living their lives in maybe in misery because they're disconnected from that. And
Yeah. Disconnected. That's a good
we
word.
like going out to the woods because we can let our imaginations run wild. We're not
Yeah.
staring at a screen, we're out there, and it's more of a grounding experience because we're
More
connected
connectedness. Yeah.
spiritually.
What is it called? Is it called earthing? Or what it
Grounding.
There's this thing where they say you're supposed to walk barefoot
Oh yeah,
like 30, 45 minutes at least a day.
a day.
Well, yes, but you know, do it as much as you possibly can, but it's supposed to help you become more connected with, you know, the earth, Native Americans, you know, a bunch of older cultures that are more spiritually inclined do that kind of stuff, but they say it makes you closer, makes you, it's a cleansing, it's a healing kind of thing for
Yeah,
you.
I think it's for me. I've done it out when I'm on hikes.
I
I'll take my
love
shoes
walking
off because
barefoot.
it's grounding, and
Yes.
your feet like develop in shoes, and they shouldn't because their feet are meant to expand as we grip and
It's actually
fold,
better for you to walk without shoes.
and we lose a lot of flexibility and
Mm.
mobility, and now we wonder why we have back problems when we get old. Like, well, you've been wearing shoes your
Or
whole
even
damn life,
feet
but
or knees.
your feet are underdeveloped.
Yeah, yeah. I've actually heard that you walking without shoes on makes the arches of your feet and knees themselves get stronger
Yeah.
because your foot has to um gain, like, you know, muscle, or you know,
Yeah.
your tendons become stronger.
Hmm.
And being in shoes where your arch is, there's already an arch, it
Hmm.
makes it
It,
lazy.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're depending on your
You're
shoes
arching your
for
shoe.
support
Yeah,
when
exactly.
your feet really don't have it. You know, like I sprained my ankle stepping down my front porch. Like that shouldn't happen. If I was barefoot, I would have a really good sense of where everything is. But
Yep.
instead, I'm in these clunky shoes and they're weighing me down. They're adding a couple extra ounces to my feet. It doesn't make any sense. But you know, with all the glass and beer bottles
Yeah,
and
I would definitely be.
syringes that are laying around, you probably
Yeah,
want to. I'm not advising against going barefoot all the
yeah.
time.
Maybe in the woods or something where it's, you know, a little. Yeah, that might be better. Yeah, I wouldn't do that on the street or something,
Yeah.
especially out here.
So when I was a kid, I guess I don't really remember it. Maybe I don't. Maybe I do. I have a memory of it, but I don't know if that's just because I was told the story of it.
Mhm.
But I was on this like a swing set in my backyard with my mom, and I don't. I think she said something like, "What were you doing out there?" And I said, "Oh, I was swinging with Grandpa. My grandpa, was dead. He died when I was born. So
Wow.
to say that, it's like, wow, why would I say that? Maybe I was making it up. Maybe I heard, oh,
And
Grandpa's
you've
dead. So
never you
Grandpa's there with you, But I don't know. I don't know that I was. I would definitely wasn't raised Christian or had any sort of religious beliefs.
did they ever bring up your
Po-
grandfather
po-
to you? Did they ever bring up your grandfather to you like before then?
Yeah, they might have.
Like, but
That he's
that's
he's
just
in
a
heaven
weird
or he's
thing.
gone or whatever. But he'll always be there with you. I don't know if they said that or not. I
Yeah.
don't. I
That's
don't.
still an odd thing though for you to say as a child. But like I said, children are more susceptible to seeing, because I believe in spirits, I believe in energy. I've had things happen to me as a child where I can't just not say that there's not spirits,
Right.
you know. So I definitely believe as children we're more susceptible to being open to otherworldly things like spirits, or, like you said, your grandfather, um, or whatever, maybe your grandfather could have been around because he wants to be a protector for your family, a guardian angel in a way, you know what I'm saying? And maybe he was there swinging with you. Like,
Yeah, my sister had an experience too when she was driving home from work one night. She heard because she knew him because she was grown when I was born. I
mm,
never met him. He passed away a few days after I was born.
okay.
She said she heard him say slow down when she was driving home from work going around these S curves, and she slowed down. There was somebody walking across the road in front of her.
Wow. Wow.
So maybe he was sticking around to make sure. And then I had dreams of him. I had dreams of him my whole life, maybe because my mom was like, "You said you were swinging with him when I was young," and then
Yeah.
that's in my head. Or maybe
And you've
like,
seen pictures of him, right?
right, right. But I always felt his essence in my dreams. Never really saw him.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
I
You
mean,
feel
he
the
was there. He was
presence.
standing, and he was wearing a like. Yeah, I guess in the picture, I saw one picture. He was wearing this like green baby blue suit,
Yeah.
and so I'd always kind of get that.
That's where your mind went to,
Right,
kind of.
but I felt his essence moreover than anything.
Yeah, I get that.
And he would come and visit me in dreams, and that's, but it hasn't happened in a while. In a few years, maybe I'm more disconnected, or maybe it's I'm just at that point where he doesn't need to watch over me anymore.
Yeah, it could be. That could be it. Like I said, as we get older, I feel like, with work, with stress, with financial, with all this, we become disconnected. We become so bogged down and clouded. Our awakeness becomes so clouded, um, that sometimes, things that even happened just a couple of years ago, like your dreams and stuff like that, um, maybe they could come back once your mind becomes less clouded of
Through
certain,
meditation or
yeah,
yoga or
yeah, or
some tai
whatever.
chi, whatever your
Yeah,
practice is.
exactly.
Could be.
Or maybe, like you said, he's done guiding you, he's guided you where you've needed to be, um, and there's no more need for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we did. Maybe we forget these things for a reason. Maybe we're not
Yeah,
meant to
that's
hold
true.
on to them so closely.
That's true. Um, but yeah, no. I feel like we've gotten super deep into this, and I love it. I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah.
Um,
You don't have conversations like this every day,
no.
and it's cool because we planned it. We were like, we're gonna sit down and we're gonna talk about this.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And then we just go off on tangents,
yeah. That's just how it goes.
but I love it. I love it. And you were saying how that girl said that she was a boy. How you were
Hmm.
talking about the Indian. Um, in this story, the boy had actually went to I think it was the wife, or no, it was the sister of the man that he said he was, and spoke to her and told her all of these things, and she was like, that's him, that's him. Like,
So they found the family even.
yeah, they found the family of the pilot, and the little boy went and spoke with them, and was talking to them about his memories, and just certain things that he remembered, and they're like, there's no fucking way I could have known this, just
Yeah.
being 4. Well, now he was like 3, 4 years
But I mean,
old.
they gotta believe now.
Yeah,
That's gotta be an emotional thing. Imagine
yeah,
somebody in your family dies and they've been dead for years, and you're
fucking
old,
40 years,
and
50
then all of
years.
a sudden a child comes up to you and is like, "Hi, mom."
Yeah, yeah.
"Hi,
Could you
sister."
fucking imagine?
No, no,
Exactly. Yeah, I couldn't even.
it would be
I
too
couldn't even.
crazy.
I couldn't even wrap my brain around that. Like if my freaking like if a kid walked up to me and was like, "Hey, I'm your grandfather," or some crazy shit like
Yeah,
that, I'd be like,
get the fuck out of here.
go what? Am I on drugs right now? Cause, jeez.
Maybe I've done too much in the past. I don't
Yeah,
know.
for real.
Can't take anything seriously.
Yeah,
Like Bill Hicks said, though, it's just a ride.
it's
It's just a
right.
ride.
I
You
like
never
that.
know.
Who said that?
Bill Hicks,
Bill
he was
Hicks.
a stand-up comedian. He
Okay.
would go off on these like anti-government, pro psilocybin mushroom tangents and get all fucking angry and not make a joke for 15 minutes and then just crack a joke like, yeah, this is usually where I start losing people in the audience.
I love
And then
those kind
everybody
of
just fucking
people.
like cracks up laughing. He's supposed to be a stand-up comedian, but
He
he
uses
makes
his
it
platform
right
to
to
talk
get
about.
his message out. And
Fucking
that
love
was
it.
before the internet. And
Yeah.
before all these thoughts were common, where you can, if you just search a little bit, come across like-minded people.
Yeah. I love when people do that, when they use their platform or use their wherever
It can
they're
get
at.
annoying though.
It
Like
can. It
sometimes you
can.
just got a band that just they have a message and it's like, okay, well, can you shut the fuck up with your message and just make
Yeah.
some music?
Yeah.
Like,
No, I totally agree with you. There's definitely a point where, it's too much. But I like, you know, when they do have a
pull,
big following that
pull
people
it like more in front of you. There you go. There.
I do like that when people have a big following that, they try to,
You gotta mix it up. Like
yeah.
people come to hear jokes, so you
Yeah.
gotta crack jokes. But then when you're like, fucking
Like
15
let's
minutes
throw
down a
out
tangent.
global warming or
Yeah.
I can't even talk about that with you because you don't believe in that.
What?
I thought you said
What?
you don't believe in climate.
No. I know
The
the world is definitely changing. I
Okay.
mean, I don't know if it's people or not, but that's not something I'm passionate enough to debate about.
Yeah. Well,
I
because I remember last time I had brought it up, it was a while ago, and you were just like, "Oh no, that's not a thing." Climate
maybe I was
change or
like, oh yeah,
whatever.
no, that's not a thing.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
It's
I
hard to
don't
say.
know.
I was probably drunk.
Maybe. I don't know. I just remember we debated about it, and I was like, "It's definitely a thing."
I don't know if that was me or not though. Maybe I was playing devil's advocate. It's hard to say.
I
I
don't
don't know.
know.
I don't
I
know
don't know.
if people are changing the climate, but like I think we are.
Oh no, they've proven now. NASA, did you see the photos from NASA that accidentally shot the radio waves in the clouds? Did you see those
Accidentally
pictures?
shot radio waves in clouds.
No, no, what it was is NASA had took photos. You know how we have satellites all over. NASA was taking photographs and right over the HARP
Oh, the weather
weather.
change ways. This is getting a little too conspiracy theorist for me here. Let's go though. Let's hear it.
But right over certain places where, there's radio wavelengths or whatever, you could see different wavelengths in the clouds. Like it
Oh,
was crazy looking. Like
it's
they
got to
were
be the harp,
trying to
or
fuck with
they say
the
harp is
clouds.
trying to control the weather.
Oh yeah, no, I totally
What is it
think
that
so.
harp stands for?
Oh, I fucking don't. I don't
Hey
know. I
Siri, what does HARP stand for? Hey Siri, what does HARP stand for?
As a noun, it means a musical instrument.
That's not what I asked.
Oh yeah, harps. It's gonna think it's like harp, like an instrument. Here, I'll type
Yeah,
it
while you're
for you.
doing that, like, yeah, I don't know if I'm sure people have tried to control the weather. It's been a
But they've
thing.
but they've even shown where they've made like cloud making
Yeah,
machines.
well, yeah,
These
they could do cloud
huge.
seeding. Cloud seeding is a
But that
thing.
can control the weather.
They
They
can make
can
it rain in
exactly.
Africa, yeah, but
That's controlling the
I don't think
weather.
that they can cause tsunamis
But
or typhoons
if
or hurricanes or even curb them.
I think if you make clouds and fuck with the pressure, you know, really hurricanes are different pressures and you know the clouds and the precipitation within the clouds
I
and
guess if
stuff.
you're manipulating anything, then you're gonna cause some pushback by Mother Nature probably.
Exactly. And we're already, like you said, with the climate thing going on right now, we're already fucked enough as it is. So, really fucking with the weather just a little bit, like,
Yeah, I but they don't. They say that they're not trying to fuck with the weather. I know we
uh,
can seed clouds to make it rain in like desert areas, and they do that in Africa sometimes. But I don't know if they can do much more than that. But I think that definitely society, maybe in our outputs and our you know, what do they call it, the footprint,
yeah.
it might be affecting um, like global climate, making it warmer.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's warmer could be causing more hurricanes and storms and stuff. But or it could just be simply now we have the internet and now we see every little thing that happens. And the media is really good at hyping stuff up and making it seem worse than it
I
is.
do know that there was an interview with um, one of the really famous scientists. He's a weather climate scientist. He's a scientist for so many things. But there was a snippet of his interview where he was asked if they're, uh, if there's machines, if they're controlling the weather. And he said, yes, we're making big steps into being able to control and change weather. From
Yeah,
So I don't know. I'll leave that open. But I personally think that they're doing shit that they should not.
that is
Playing God.
crazy because if you can control the weather, do you tell people about it or not? You have to. You have to get approval from the government or
Hmm.
something.
How many black projects are there?
Yeah, who knows, man? Who knows?
But to stop you really quick, HAARP, HARP. It stands for High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program. An ionosphere research program that is founded by the U.S. military and the University of Alaska.
That's where they take radio waves and bounce them into the ionosphere in order to make what is it? What's the goal?
Uh, Pretty much
To
to control the
I
weather.
I think that's what the conspiracy theorists say is that they're trying to control the weather, but I don't
But when you
what's their official story?
but when you push out frequency, when you do that, you're changing the atoms in the air, and you know, you're changing these things.
Yeah, I don't know. I would like to look into it more.
Yeah, no, definitely. But like, when you push frequencies out, different radio waves or whatever, you're gonna screw with the atoms. Whatever
There's
atoms,
so many
protons.
atoms though, and when you're creating a wave, you're just
But I'm
moving one a little bit.
I mean, I'm sure, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, of course, they're not going to put out exactly what they're doing because it's very hush hush. I'm sure, like Area 51.
Yeah, Area
Um,
51. I think that's another podcast.
yeah, for sure, for sure,
That's a whole other subject, but
for sure. What happened to the whole, going after Area 51? I want to know, people.
It fizzled out.
I know. It's just
Or
like,
I heard somebody say that it was under represented in the media. That the media that reported on it was painting in the light as that it was a failure and that it didn't work and that nobody showed up when really there was a lot of
yeah,
people that showed up.
there was actually people that showed up. There
Because
was.
if you like look at the Facebook post the day of, there was like 8 people standing outside of the fence, but really there was like a whole like
Of course, the
gathering.
media's not gonna show all of it, you know. Of course.
And they said only like 3 people got arrested. I don't know. I think that the government has its tactics and that we're podcast about reincarnation.
Yeah.
The government
Yeah,
has
I'm
its tactics.
sorry.
This is how it goes. They have their tactics and that yeah, maybe they might like get extra armed security or whatever, but in order to detour a gathering like that, an organized event, what they're gonna do is they're gonna send people into the movement to infiltrate, to rise to positions of leadership and organization, and throw it off from the inside. They're gonna stop it before it even begins. So like, oh, we need to send our guys on it.
What's crazy is, you know, the media is controlled by the government, controlled by, you know, all of that. So, you know, we're only.
I think the media is controlled by the same people that control the government.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah.
It's two
No.
separate things, but it goes back to the money.
I agree with that. Actually, I agree with that more so. But yeah. So we only see what they want us to see.
You know, agent provocateurs. You know what that is? They would send people in peaceful protests. They would like the CIA would send people into the protests to protest with them,
Really?
but then they would start like getting violent and throwing punches on behalf of the protesters. But really, it's the CIA operatives,
It's a setup.
and they're doing
It's
it.
a setup thing.
They're
right?
doing it. Yeah, you can pull the thing closer to you if you
I
want.
just
Yeah.
don't want
Yeah.
to.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, they do that to take the protest and turn it into a riot so they can go in and break it up.
Of course. Of course.
It's so fucked up. But all those people lived a past life.
Yeah. Probably. Probably.
And they're here to learn a lesson. Maybe they were a protester that got beat up, so then they the next life joined the CIA.
Or they were a spy.
And they're like, fuck it, we're gonna break up these goddamn protests. Like it's a learning experience. You
Or
see
like
both sides of
Russian
the
spies.
coin. Russian
Yeah.
spies.
I don't know. I don't know.
Let's fuck up the United States.
Yeah.
You know what the troll farms are?
No.
So like they all this talk about influencing the election, but like a lot of the memes we see
Mhm.
are created by fake ghost accounts
Mhm.
that originate in Russia. It's just Russian operatives or people
What?
making memes and infiltrating American culture.
What?
Like they'll set up
Really?
yeah, they'll set up like a Muslim rights rally next to like an NRA rally, and like they'll just
To start shit.
right, and nobody that organized it is even there.
Yeah.
It's just like a Facebook meetup, like across the street from each other, just to stir up shit and cause.
Literally like stirring the pot.
Yeah, yeah, like there was a thing like African Americans for Trump or something like that that was started by Russia.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
That was started by Russia?
They're just fucking stirring the pot.
Wow.
They're just stirring the pot. And if you know Sun Tzu's art of war, divide and conquer.
Yeah.
They're causing divide, and
Oh,
it's like
yeah.
here we are running around with fucking chickens with their heads cut off, like oh fuck the Democrats, fuck the Republicans.
Yeah.
Like hey, no, we're being divided.
By,
That's dumb.
outside
We need to stand
influences.
together. We're
Yeah.
not that different. Who cares if your neighbor wants to cut her baby out before it's born, or your neighbor wants to buy an AK-47? Like,
Yeah.
chill out.
Yeah.
Chill out. Maybe we need to stop prescribing so many prescription drugs to get the
Oh,
school shootings
yeah.
down, but like we need to chill out
Yeah. No,
against
I
each
agree.
other.
I
This whole
agree.
internal.
I agree full-heartedly, man. We have, you know, and it's crazy because if people knew how society was 100 years ago, like our we've excelled so much, but at the same time, we've regressed. I feel like, okay, so I don't know. That was kind of a bad
I
example.
don't
That was a really
I
bad
don't know that we've
example.
regressed so much. I think that we're more exposed now.
I was gonna say we regress like when it comes to togetherness. I don't know. But like I said, that was a terrible explanation. I don't know where I was going. My brain kind of did a brain fart.
I think that the internet is just showing everybody who everybody else is.
Oh yeah.
So we got a little bit of growing pains. But I don't think that there's as many bigoted racists out there as you're led to believe by scrolling through Facebook for 5 minutes.
I feel like in the 90s we were more together, like because there wasn't social media to bring sides, like how you said
It was just the
that
media.
that it was only the media, and you took your opinion with whatever the media said, and that was that.
But
There was no.
there's algorithms on Facebook to show you, like, remember when they stopped showing you the most recent comments and started showing you the most relevant comments,
Mhm.
and that changed? There's algorithms on Facebook that
I hate that.
will show you, it'll parrot back to you your beliefs,
Mhm.
but then it'll like show you the most outrageous beliefs of the opposite side to make you
Really?
outraged in order to comment.
Yeah.
But then on your news feed you're going to see like the more logical aspects of your own beliefs, so it creates this weird
Wow.
echo chamber that also
Wow.
causes this divide against other people.
Yeah.
And it's algorithms that's designed to keep you coming back so they can make
Yeah.
more ad money. And
Okay.
it's all kinds of fucked up. Like, we're it social media is manipulated.
Oh yeah.
Society isn't what you see it as on social media.
Of course.
It's
Yeah.
but people scroll through Facebook for a few minutes and then they have this fucked up idea about how the world is. Like, oh, everybody hates transgender people. Or if anybody disagrees with this point of view, they must also hate these people.
Yeah. It's stupid. It's so stupid. And what's crazy too is
Those were all
how
reincarnated people.
yeah, yeah. Sorry we went off on a tangent of randomness. But these are all things that are very relevant. Um ah we were taught me and my mom were talking about insurance and stuff like that because I recently had to get insurance. But you know how things will pop up on your Facebook or whatever about things that you talk about. Like we're talking about reincarnation. I'm sure my fucking Facebook will show some goddamn shit.
Oh.
Excuse my language. But we'll show some shit on my Facebook about something or other. Something
Yeah, you'll get an ad for
regarding,
a spiritual company or some
yeah,
shit,
or meditation or whatever, or
which
death,
is
or
good. They're showing you things that are relevant to you, but
but it's
it's a little
crazy.
intrusive.
Yeah.
And then who knows what that's creating? Like, we're supposed to be exposed to diversity in order to overcome. But if you're showing the same things over and over again, like you make the same posts or you show that you're the same person and that's reflected on your online virtual self and your virtual profiles,
Mhm.
then you get this same online experience reflected back to you. And it causes this like need to fight against it. Now
Yeah.
everybody's taking up arms and taking sides. But like,
They want to separate so much. Like, let's completely divide people and make them fucking fight and watch them while we have popcorn in our hands. That's pretty much what it is. It's like, let's throw this out there and let's sit back and watch what
but we're all
happens.
doing it. It's all just regular people.
I
They're
know.
all people that were just born. They were born out of a womb, and they're gonna die the same and end up in ashes or in the ground or
And then come back as a
as another
cheetah
person. Yeah,
or
exactly.
a cheetah.
Reincarnation.
I want them to be a cheetah.
Why do they got to be a cheetah?
Because cheetahs are pretty and fast
Maybe they
and are a
get.
predator.
Maybe they get. Maybe they get reincarnated as a cheetah because they got eaten by a cheetah, or maybe they were trying to escape.
Or it was their favorite animal.
Maybe it's their favorite animal because in the previous life they were a cheetah. I mean, it's a constant
Cute.
cycle. Person,
There
cheetah,
you
person,
go.
cheetah, person, cheetah.
There you go.
Is cheetah your spirit animal?
No. No, I would say a sloth. Just kidding.
So
um,
unexpected.
a sloth. I
I
don't.
identify with that. I get that.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
definitely a sloth in at least one incarnation in my life,
yeah, for
in
sure,
my span of lives.
for sure. So, like, if you were reincarnated, who do you think you were in a past life?
Well, one time when I was a stoner and I smoked weed all the time, I did this guided meditation to recall a past life.
Hmm.
So I was really high, and I'm laying in bed, and I'm able to relax like every muscle, do the body scan, head to toe or toe to head, however it went,
Okay.
and then go back and go back. And I remember looking down at my boots. I was wearing boots, the cowboy boots,
Hmm.
and I had a cabin, like just a single. I don't know if it was a single room or one bedroom. It was like just like a cabin in a
Okay.
field, like a pasture, and I'm looking out over it, and it was just beautiful. But it was in like I don't know where it was. I don't know
Just
where it
was
was.
somewhere.
I might be blending two different lives that I recalled together, but I feel like I was in like Scandinavia or Sweden or something.
Okay.
And then I remember another life, or maybe later on in the same life, coming to America, the land of opportunity, and selling cars. Maybe I started a car dealership, or I was a car salesman
Yeah.
or something. But then I remember, or I figured, I don't know, I was really high.
Eh.
I died in a car accident. So
Wow.
it was just kind of this irony that the thing that I made my living off of killed me.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that was just the weed or I don't know. No, I don't know.
You're just super high. No, it's funny that you say that you think your past life was, you somewhere in the mountains because ever since I was a kid, I've felt really drawn to nature. I've always felt really drawn. I don't know what it is. I've always loved camping. I want to move in the mountains. Like I've always
Roxy, chill out, girl. Go lay down.
um that's why I want to move to North Carolina. I want to be in the
It's a
mountains
beautiful place.
somewhere just by myself in a cabin, you know. Um, I'm really good at gardening too, so I feel like in my past life, and it was something that I literally just, I mean, my Oma, my grandmother, she's always gardened.
Roxy. Sorry,
And,
I'm gonna let her over here.
okay.
You can keep talking.
Um, but in my past life, like my Oma always uh gardened and always was growing stuff. So I obviously had that kind of background, but I just became so good at gardening. It was like a natural talent for me. It was just natural. It came natural. It was something I really loved to do.
That's funny because if you had a past life at any other time on Earth, that was probably what you were doing in gardening because that was
Yeah.
super
Or what if I
important
was
for
like
survival.
a farmer, or or I don't know. Uh
It's got to be like some type of like innate human knowledge
yeah.
that
Yeah.
you're born with. This is how we evolved.
Yeah. Yeah, like how hunters and gatherers kind of thing, you know what I'm saying? Um we're all really born with that. The hunter and gatherer mentality somewhere in there. Now if we tap into it, that's a different thing, you know. But it's always there. You just tapping into it is a whole different story, whether or not you choose to do so.
Do you think that there's some memories that are passed down through DNA?
Yes, yes. And they've proven it. Like people in the Holocaust and stuff like that, they've said that down generations, let's say their grandkids or whatever are fearful of certain things. Let's just say, like claustrophobia or something like that. Apparently, they've tracked it down that it was such a traumatic experience that happened to their grandparents. It actually was coded into their DNA.
That is pretty crazy.
Yes, they have proven that.
How?
I don't remember the science behind it, but it has been proven, and I will find it and I will send it to you because it is insane.
The way that is supposed to work is that, say you're a bird and all the birds with short beaks end
Yeah,
up dying because they can't reach the food.
yeah.
And that happens over many generations. But to say that you have a fear of something because just your grandparents had, oh, Roxy.
Okay.
Roxy's internet debut
Yes.
on the podcast. Anyway, I posted a lot of pictures of her. But to say that just happens over one generation, that you've got like a fear of something, like the psychological connection to like the Darwinian shift in your DNA. I don't even know how it would shift like that. That's insane.
Yeah, yeah. They've proven it that, like that traumatic experience that happens to your grandparents, let's say, gets passed down, to your parents. And you have this, what you feel is irrational. Because, let's say anxiety, for
Do
example.
you think maybe that isn't necessarily genetic, but like your grandparent went through that, he had PTSD and raised a kid with that spiritual impact on him and spiritually impacted the child, and that raised another kid with the same type of spiritual impact on them?
That could be it too. That could be it too. And I won't discredit that at all because that could be, definitely. Um, but there could be both cases like that. Like you said, they could be raised like that, or in some instances, um, like this traumatic experience. Like, I don't know why I have anxiety over certain things. I don't know why I feel the way that I feel over certain things
Yeah.
for no reason. Um, and maybe it's because my grandparents or my mother went through something so traumatic that it had
Or
changed her DNA.
that could have been you in a past life.
Or it could have been me in a past life. Hi.
You're on camera.
I am.
You're being recorded. Avoid
Um,
legal snacks by telling the person they're being recorded.
um, so yeah, definitely it could have been me in a past life for some.
It could be a combination of both. But what's interesting is that there is a guy in the early 1900s. He did a study of language, and he discovered that the frequency of use of more meaningful words was lower, and the frequency of use of less meaningful words were higher. Uh, yeah, I'm not really gonna give an example, but like words that have more impact
Mhm.
are used less. Words that
Okay.
have less of an impact are used more frequently.
Okay.
And there's a ratio that it's the same ratio between all languages on Earth. So you study Spanish, English, French, German, Chinese, Japanese, Korean, you're gonna get the same ratio of high impact words and their frequency of use in conversation versus low impact words and their frequency of use in conversation. And that same ratio,
Give me an example because I'm having a hard time kind of
um,
grasping like what you're.
so we say to and the and a and for and
Okay.
We say that shit a lot.
Okay.
But words like what's a high impact word?
Um,
Uh, impact. Words like
impact, exactly. Yeah,
impact.
impact.
Words like organization. Words like um
Are not said as frequently.
right,
Okay.
and they mean more.
Okay. Okay.
That
Gotcha.
that ratio exists in all language, but it also exists in the codes that represent certain functions in our bodies. It represents in our DNA. That same ratio is
Okay.
in our DNA that is in the language that we use.
Okay.
So that suggests that our DNA is a sort of language. It's a sort of code.
Yeah. 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 For sure. For sure. It is definitely a code. I agree with that. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
But like does that mean we've been designed? We've been designed by something else that has a higher knowledge. Like language isn't really designed by
You
a human,
know,
it's designed by humans collective. Hey.
calm yourself, little lady. Um, sorry to interrupt you, but they have actually collected DNA from a tribe in Australia. They're an Aborigine tribe that their DNA came back as not of this world.
That's nuts. That is fucking nuts.
Yeah, it is not of this world. And they don't know how to explain it, obviously. But it's not human DNA,
Do you
like typical human
but can they
DNA.
mate with people and
Well,
still get
yeah,
them and stuff?
it's a tribe. They've obviously, I mean, I don't know if
But they're
they
not connected.
do so with outsiders in their tribe. But this apparently
I
there's
would I definitely want to research that
yeah,
a
you
little bit
should.
more
You should.
because that's fascinating.
Yeah,
Are you familiar with like the Anunnaki?
I've heard of the
Those
Anunnaki.
those from heaven to earth came. So there's a planet that also revolves around the sun
Okay.
that has like a weird uh elliptical pattern. It comes close to the sun and then it goes very very far away and comes back.
So
You
they
know,
get
like
a really hot summer.
and then a really fucking cold all the time.
Gotcha.
Right,
Okay. Okay.
Roxy.
Yeah.
Uh, that might not be exactly relevant.
Okay.
It could be something else, but the legends and Earth goes that um so aliens came to Earth
Mhm.
and they genetically manipulated the bipedal hominids that were already developing here.
Okay.
Just mix their DNA with apes, with primates, whatever, monkeys,
Yeah.
and created humans to harvest gold.
Okay.
And the gold was important for their planet because I've heard different things like they need gold to for power, like
Certain
energy,
technology.
or
Certain
they
technology.
need gold for um to making the dust to sprinkle in their atmosphere to make sure that their planet can survive the long winters
For
away
whatever.
from the
Yeah.
sun or whatever.
Okay.
I've heard different things, but the most common theme is that humans were created to harvest gold for them. And then we developed our own
It's weird to
consciousness.
it's weird to think just for gold, not for like studying or
Right.
for
But maybe they already knew what they were doing.
harvesting
Maybe they've done it before.
or yeah.
But who knows?
This is true.
So then we developed our own consciousness and our own, like, we could think for ourselves.
Or what if they gave it to us?
But maybe,
Yeah.
maybe. But then, so they had a moral dilemma and they decided, like, okay, well, these beings can't be our slaves anymore. We got to let them do their own thing.
Okay.
So then they backed out, and then they let us develop, and they come back and check up on us every once in a while. That's why there's like UFOs and old paintings and stuff, and people get abducted and shit.
Egyptian
Yeah,
stuff and other stuff. There's fucking literally there's aliens like right there from like thousands of years ago. How do you explain that? It's literally there in black and white.
Yeah, I know the alien thing runs deep, and it's been
Yes.
around for a really long time, and it's fucking nuts. So,
Like,
there's a Trevor Moore song that he's a comedian. He does music. It's
okay.
really interesting. He's got a song like his my computer just became self-aware, but at one point his computer takes DMT and like
Yes,
goes and
I
talks to
know what you're
Anunnaki.
talking about.
I'm gonna pull up the lyrics to what he says because it sums it up really fucking well. Um, after his computer had done DMT. Let's see, I'm gonna go to Skype. This is the first time I'm ever gonna try this. I am going to screen share. Screen share. Start screen share. Am I screen sharing?
Oh,
Do you see my
hi.
screen?
I was, I had, oh, yep, see it right there.
Cool. We created you as slaves to harvest gold for our ships, and when the planet was dry, we'd wipe you out and just dip. But someone made the argument that that did not seem quite fair because of psilocybin mushrooms, you'd become self aware. It was the fruit of the garden in the legends you tell. Heavens with us and the stars, you're trapped in digital hell, a simulation of creation that serves as your probation before you're introduced to the galactic population. We wanted to see if beings that did not have telepathy are capable of feeling empathy and living peacefully.
Hmm. Wow.
Yeah, he's a
And
comedian and he just summed that up in a song.
wow, that was pretty freaking dope.
Yeah. You see me again on my back?
Yep, you are.
All right. Hey Siri, I'm not talking to you.
Give me another chance.
Oh, right in the mouth.
Wow.
Right in the mouth. Yum.
Roxy,
Delicious. And
stop
M&Ms.
being a puppy.
I love her.
You
She's
can't have
adorable.
chocolate.
Yeah. Making out with dogs.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds really bad.
That's how I woke up this morning. I've been sleeping on the couch because it's cold at night, and like, I got the puppies right there. Like my alarm's going off this morning, and Roxy's just like in my face,
Oh, of course.
like kissing me and clawing at me, and like, get up.
Yeah.
She needed to go outside.
She's your alarm.
I know. Now she is. Now I know I don't even have to bother setting one. Sun comes up, she's right there.
Like, hi, Dad.
Oh, there you are again, Roxy.
Hi.
Hey, baby.
Hi.
Get down.
Just trying
Just push her. Yeah, get the
to
fuck
feel
down.
bad.
Roxy. Roxy, come here. Come here, baby.
Make the screen a little. All right.
Oh, she likes you. She's coming back. Yeah, I think it's nuts though that so many people,
Ow.
so many kids,
Ow. Okay.
so many kids have said that the reincarnation thing,
Yeah.
and
It's not
just kind of bring it back home. But
no, it's not just like one or two.
hey,
It's like
hey,
it's like dozens.
I think it's every kid because I've got this memory when I was a kid of like eating dinner or something, but the view was like weird. It was from another chair, the floor, and some kid was getting spoon fed some food, baby food or something, and the person was like, "Oh, is Patrick hungry or what?" or something like that.
Who the fuck is Patrick?
Yeah, but my dad's friend has a son named Patrick, so I always kind of just figured it was him.
Okay.
But it wasn't until I was thinking about this whole reincarnation thing today that I realized, like, because I remember when I was a kid, I asked my mom about that memory. I was like, did that happen or was that a dream?
Okay.
Because it didn't
Yeah.
feel like it happened. I don't remember it happening, but I remember it.
I have those instances too. I know exactly what you're talking about and that feeling.
So maybe I have a memory of the thing that I remembered then. I don't have the direct memory, but I remember remembering it.
There's a memory there.
Maybe it came forth in a dream. So I remember something in this life or thinking that or recalling that.
Mhm.
But it was too real to be like I'm playing with an imaginary friend or
Yeah.
that's a whole other subject, but
Yeah.
but it's like it's not something I fabricated. That's something that definitely happened, maybe in a dream, but
You know, I hate when people say that dreams are irrelevant. That dreams are just dreams and they're nothing, you know, they're just your mind
That's how we spend
making.
a portion of our time, though.
And to me, dreams mean so much. Dreams are memories. Dreams are possibly your future. You know, dreams are a lot that you're, and for people to dismiss, you know, your dreams or, you know, memories or anything like that, deja vu, what so have you. You know, this is your mind trying to wake you up to possible reincarnation or a past life or a future,
Or you're just
you
trying to
know.
work something out that you need to solve.
Yeah, that too.
It could be that.
Or your purpose.
But I think they're super important. Like
Oh
we
yeah. Yeah.
evolved. Like spiritual or not, we evolved uh, for a very long time. But the past 250,000 years or so, we've been humans. And before that, we were who knows fucking what scientists know, but like who knows really what we were before humans.
Yeah.
And somehow we have dreams. Dogs have dreams. Cats have dreams. You,
Yeah.
you see animals have dreams.
Yep.
Every living being, it seems, has dreams when it's not conscious. If it sleeps, then it goes into REM cycles.
What if the dreams, like what if your cat is used to be a human and it's having dreams of its past life? Or a dog.
Have you ever had a dream of being a cat?
I've had a dream of not being a cat per se, but I was of animal likeness. I can't remember exactly, but I do remember being like close to the ground, and I definitely wasn't human. I definitely wasn't human.
Have you ever had a lucid dream?
Yes. Yes.
What is that fucking real or what?
Yes. Yes.
How is that?
I can't really explain it. It's a hard feeling to explain
I had one.
because it's so real.
I had one where I was. I can't even describe it. I got it written down somewhere. But
I want to start writing my dreams down.
I went to hug somebody and I went through them, and then like when I went through them, I was like, "Oh, that's because I'm dreaming." And then as soon as I thought that, I was like, "Oh yeah, look at this, I'm dreaming."
Yeah.
What? And then I like looked at this. I went outside and there's like it was like a courtyard and it came from a building. There's another building and I looked up to the top of the building and it's like this like flat overhang and I'm like I want to be up there. I'm dreaming. So what if I just remember that I can do that
In my
easily?
dream. Yeah.
There's no
You can just
gravity. There's
pop up
nothing. There's
there,
nothing
yeah.
limiting me, and so I just like scaled the building, like just to get out
Okay.
there.
Yeah.
And I was like, what else can I do? I bet I could fly. And then I woke up.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks.
I've yet to have the flying one, but I hear that once you get really proficient at lucid dreaming, you can do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's something I definitely want to keep practicing
You can
at.
train your brain to pretty much dream whatever you want. In a sense, kind of, you know, obviously your brain takes over at some point. You know, you can't control that, but you can control most of it when you get really good at it.
That's what I want. I was buying dark chocolate for a while because I
Mhm.
heard that it helps, and then doing like meditations before I go to sleep.
Yeah.
But I kind of like I don't know. I didn't see results after a while, so I just tapered off. But I want
Gotcha.
to get back into that.
And you don't smoke, right? You
No,
don't smoke.
not really
Well, that's a
anymore.
good thing. That's a good thing because I noticed whenever I don't, I wish I could smoke pot. I can't. Or I
Could you
mean,
ever?
yeah, I used to be a huge stoner.
Yeah, me
Smoke at
too.
least like 9 blunts a day.
That's a
But
lot. I wasn't that much of a stoner, but I know what you mean. Like,
I
and then
didn't
you just
dream.
can't anymore.
Well, I noticed that. Well, I get anxiety really bad now
Mhm.
whenever I smoke. So you know,
It's like shit. The
until
universe is really fucking big. And
yeah,
this person in front of me is like saying some crazy stuff.
Yeah, and until I find something where I feel comfortable, and the weed's just too strong nowadays, man. It's
That's what it
too
is.
strong for me. It's not fun to feel that uncomfortably high,
Yep.
and I just don't enjoy it,
That's what got me because I was
People
smoking
make fun of
Reggie's.
me. Yeah, people make fun of me for being like, "Oh, I wish I could smoke Reggie." I mean, yeah, I do know a connect where I can get mids in
Really?
Reggie. Yeah, I can help you. I can hook you up. Yeah.
That's what
And
I.
it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Um, but I wish there was more indicas, more like, instead of there's like no pure indica, it's all hybrid, and
Hmm.
it pisses me off because everybody loves sativa, everybody
I'm
wants
used to smoking
sativa.
like a whole joint. You can't do that no more because you're like
No, because
fuck.
you'll
But
freaking die, or you
there
feel like you're dying.
there should be a
You'll
balance between the
die.
THC and CBD, but
Yeah. But like I was saying, if I know that whenever I was smoking weed, I didn't dream. I didn't dream at all.
it's a common thing.
And then once I stopped, my dreams were fucking amazing. They were insane and so real. So, like, I would wake up, like, let's say, like, I was crying in my dream or something. I would wake up and I'd actually be
And
crying,
do they taper off after you
you
stop?
know? No, I still dream like crazy. I
Oh,
still dream like crazy. You know, not as intense, like, for the most part, uh, they're not as intense. Like I said, like the whole crying thing or whatever. Like that only happened a couple of times. Uh, all my other dreams were like, happy and stuff like that, and really good dreams. That's only happened to me maybe like twice, where but that's when I was like having a really fucked up nightmare, because I I have some really really bad nightmares. I used to have night terrors too.
do you ever have sleep paralysis?
Um, I will say I don't believe it was sleep paralysis, because of what it was and what happened. So I won't call it sleep paralysis, but some people might say it was sleep paralysis. Um, it was a very crazy thing that happened to me.
I want to hear about it a little bit, but I also gotta pee. So
Okay.
we
I,
should,
I would like to take a little break if
yeah,
that's
we
okay.
should wrap up this episode of Conversation
Yeah.
Frequency and call this a wrap, and then
Yeah.
maybe do a short little Good Clean Talks podcast after this, just audio.
Good clean talks.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll
Well, let
go
me see
go
what
back to the
time it
original.
is.
So if you want to go back and listen to Good Clean Talks, get a few minutes out of it. I can't do an hour. I gotta go to sleep soon, but
Yeah, no, I gotta head out
yeah,
here.
so there might be a little extra. So check goodcleantalks.com and we'll see. But thank you for listening, you guys.
Thanks.
It's been a pleasure talking.
Yes.
I don't know if you enjoyed listening as much as I've enjoyed talking, but
Yeah.
thanks for sticking around this far.
That was a good rabbit hole to go down.
Yeah, right. Reincarnation. Yeah, yeah,
It was nice.
yeah,
And the other things that we tapered off on were good.
yeah.
Thanks, guys.
We're gonna die someday and probably wake up in another life. And you know what's cool? You know what's really cool? If we die and get reincarnated at a point in the future, this might still be on the internet,
Oh, shit.
right?
Oh, shit.
Hi, future self.
Hi.
Namaste and shit.